It's the same thing. Hopefully they can
Do you want me to tell them to go, we move to a new room? Refresh everybody, move to
Everybody refresh. We're in a new room, yeah. Gosh, that's so annoying. I hate that.
Okay, so what's it called?
Paranormal.
No, you move to a new chat.
Yeah, I restarted the chat. Now we're in a new room. Paranormal Punch X2 is what it's called.
Restarted.
Jeez.
Paranormal.
Tammy, you're always going to find this girl. I appreciate that. This stinking ratter. Shadow of a Ghost is here. Barbara's here. Yes, we are getting them back, reeling them back in. I have no idea. This darn, we're out in the country, sort of, and this internet here just stinks to high heaven. Put holy water on your monitor. We might have to. We might have to at this point. Maybe Grandma's back messing with our internet.
Could be. We did Sage.
Sorry about that, guys. I'm so sorry. What a pain in the neck. Marilyn Meadows is here. Hey, Marilyn, how are you? Again, very, very sorry. The internet here is stinky. Tammy and Barbara Ann never left. No, you girls will never leave. I know it. Exploring with Sam. Hey, Sam, how are you? Carolyn's here. Another day with Lori's here. Whew, thank you. Everybody's coming back in. Feisty Taco, welcome back. I'm so sorry. What a downer. Doing good. Good. I'm glad, Sam. Sticking with those videos, I hope.
So did anybody notice anything in the video that we were talking about? Who sent you the thing? The email.
Through the Veil. Nicole at Through the Veil sent us a capture. And a good friend of ours, Kat, on the channel sends us captures.
Yeah. Thank you for sending those.
Yay, we're back. Hi, Ember. Sorry. I'm so sorry. No need to say sorry. Okay, Feisty. Thank you. Exploring with Sam. Just dropped my first cemetery investigation. That's awesome. Let's talk about that in a second. Let me welcome everybody back. Is your road trip done now? No, we haven't started yet. We leave tomorrow, very early in the morning, maybe. Either she's staying another week or we're taking her back tomorrow. We haven't decided yet. It all depends on the weather at this point. The second party that we're dropping her off with, we were going to meet halfway, is not very comfortable in driving in storms. So because the tropical depression is going right across where we need to drive, we're unsure at this point in time what's happening. Mittens, hey, welcome back. Thank you so much. American Phantom Hunters, hello. How are you? Monica, hey, ladies, love you. Thank you so much, Monica. Thank you for being here. Ember, not your fault. I know it's not technically my fault, Ember, but man, it's just so annoying.
It's annoying.
It's really, you're trying to hang out with your fan, just, and this stuff happens, and it's not our fault, but it doesn't feel like that. I want to go on a road trip. Ember, let's go. Let's see, Michelle. Hey, Michelle Yocum. How are you doing? We're doing fine. Thank you for asking. Donna's back. Hey, Donna. Getting everybody back slowly.
American Phantom, where are you located?
So yes, cemetery investigation, exploring with Sam. So that's an interesting topic. We haven't done a ton of cemeteries publicly. We do love to visit cemeteries. What?
Clyde, North Carolina.
North Carolina. See?
That's where I live. Not in Clyde, but I live in North Carolina.
And that's where we have to take her. Shit happens. Yes, Tammy, it does. Would you ever consider doing an invest in South Florida? Heck yeah, Monica, I would. Absolutely. We're not above going anywhere for an investigation. Right now, as you can tell, most of the stuff that is on our channel is mostly smaller investigations, and there's a reason for that. The reason being two things. One, we still have a full-time job, so our investigations for traveling is limited to our weekends, which is Sunday and Monday. And two, it's been hard with COVID. We started this channel in February, and we've been very blessed with a rapid growth. But it's been hard. A lot of the places that were offering tours and such, have either shut down or put great restrictions, which is great. But we just haven't been able to get out there and do the things that maybe we've seen on TV and stuff, like Waverly Hills. That's on my bucket list for sure. Jenny and I just the other night were exploring New York State hospitals,
Hospital, psych institution.
psych institutions, insane asylums. There's a bunch up there. I'm going to withhold a joke on that. But we have plans to do bigger and better things, as in things that you guys may have seen done by other investigators and TV shows. But mostly we've stuck around here and stuck to smaller places for two reasons. One, we still have a full-time job, but two, a lot of the bigger places with the that people investigate, the spirits that may or may not be there are just constantly being investigated. So we find a lot in these smaller places that there are spirits that may be lingering around that have a story to tell, and they're a little bit more willing to talk and a lot less tired. So we're sort of exhausting our options on that locally first before we start to branch out, and hopefully, COVID will move along where it belongs. And
Can you lift that back up a little bit?
can I do what?
Go back up a little bit.
Go back up where?
I want to read something up a little higher.
In the chat?
Yeah.
Hold on, she wants to read something in the chat. Not
Okay.
that I was talking or anything.
Hold on. American Phantom. I live outside of Charlotte. And just wanted you to know.
Here, let's put this to the Jenny show.
And the psychiatric units that I told her about, when I was in nursing school, we had to go there, and I had to witness things like electric shock treatment and some of the very, very sad things that happen in those hospitals. So I thought she might like to go there. So it's old stomping grounds for me. Anyhow,
She used to run those places back in the 1800s.
just call me Nurse Ratchet.
Yes, and that's the cool part. So a different part of investigations, as you know, especially if you are an investigator yourself, if you bring other people with you, they bring a different energy to the atmosphere. So
That's crazy, Nurse Ratchet.
what?
American Phantom Hunter. That's
Oh,
crazy,
yes.
Nurse Ratchet.
So spirits and energy and souls, we're all just energy beings. Everything is from energy. So when you have different energies that are in the same room, sort of doing the same thing, different energies can elicit different responses. So
And I have friendly, good energy. Go ahead, resume.
she does. So especially like we were just talking about before we so rudely got cut off from our last room, the Crayon Cross house, it felt like an older woman spirit, and she just immediately attached herself right to Jenny because she's also an older female spirit. And I'm just kidding, but they had a connection, right? So it's interesting to see when you bring somebody with you to these places, the different sorts of responses that you get, like if you were on your own or if you're with a bigger group. That being said, some of the bigger places, when you have a lot of people investigating at the same time, like we just did with the Masonry Museum, it was still a good experience, and we got to go off on our own, but they're just
Too many
tired.
people.
Too many people, and they just don't know where to go, who to talk to, and what to trust. So back to landing the plane, exploring with Sam. I see you left in the comment. Yes, it was a daytime investigation. I want to go back at night, but I won't go alone. That's a very good idea. Don't go anywhere alone. Cemetery investigations. So my personal beliefs when it comes to spirits and things of that nature is they tend to hang around either where it's comfortable, where they passed, sometimes in times of great tragedy and terror. Unfortunately, it's hard to talk about, but murder scenes and stuff like that, an enormous amount of energy is expended. So I'm interested to see if anybody in the chat has any sort of theories about why spirits hang around the graveyard. Are they hanging around their final remains? Are they hanging out where their family comes to visit them?
That's what I think.
That's what you think?
Mhm.
Are they hanging around because it's a cemetery and it's creepy anyway? Go ahead and throw up your answers. Why do you think that so many spirits hang around cemeteries? I'd like to see what you guys think. Let's go through the chat here. Sunshine.
I think it's because they want people to come back and visit them. That's my opinion.
Well, then why don't they just hang out with their loved ones? If that's what you think.
Well, maybe they're comfortable at the cemetery. It's warm. They're,
Don't you think they'd be comfortable in those?
they're laying there in satin. I'd be happy.
There she goes again. I hope there's no children watching this right now. Exploring with Sam. They're lost and can't pass over yet. Yeah,
That could be, yeah.
that could be. That's one of the reasons I personally believe that spirits hang around.
Something that was buried with them that they were attached to.
Yes. Who said that?
Monica?
Very good, Monica. I think that as well.
When I go, I'm taking my dogs. Whether they're dead or not, they're going with me. Just letting you know. And I've decided, because I'm going to be cremated, so that Sunshine can keep some of my ashes, Shell can keep some, my grandkids can keep some, my son can keep some.
Oh my God, you're going to be everywhere.
Little teeny tiny bottles everywhere.
I'll wear you around my neck. How about that?
All right, you can do that.
Every time a spirit comes at me and scares me, I'll just fairy dust them right in the face.
All right, that's good.
Perfect. Monica, yes, maybe it was something that was buried. Get your answers up there. Papa Bear, I think it's the visitors also.
Thank you, Papa Bear.
Yes, the visitors as
You
well.
available? I'm just joking.
We're gonna have to cut this live stream early if she keeps us up. Do we have a seatbelt for her? We can keep her strapped in the chair. Lord. Stop it. Mitten, demonic entity, unfinished business. Barbara Breen, yes, absolutely, 110%. Especially if they were to leave this world and their bodies in a very tragic and sudden way. Unfinished business is absolutely top on my list as well.
And Tammy, my dogs are very old as it is. They're like 16 years old each. So, you know, when I go, they might just as well go with me.
Because family comes to visit them. Feisty Taco. Yep. Okay. So is the graveyard, here's another question. Is the graveyard or cemetery creepy because bodies are buried there and spirits are there? Or is it just creepy by itself? What came first, chicken or the egg? The spirits in a creepy graveyard, or just the fact that there's bodies there and we make up stories? That's a good question.
If it's during the day, it's because cemeteries can be very beautiful. We used to go do rubbings, my mother and I. We'd go and take like tissue paper stuff, and you would do a rubbing over the cemetery thing so that you would have a,
Did they have tissue paper back then?
yes. At nighttime, I think it's just kind of creepy because it's dark and people talk about scary things.
Well, there's spirits and ghosts during the day.
Yeah, but they don't bother you during the day, really.
No?
No. No.
Let's see. Jenny is a hoot. Yeah, she's a hoot, all right. You two are hilarious. Sometimes. Papa Bear says, not a dating site. You're right, Papa Bear. I apologize. I apologize.
Sorry.
Let's see. Both. Yep. Portals are more accessible at cemeteries, and so they stay. That's interesting. And why do you think portals are more? I just want to pick your brain. So you're saying that portals are more accessible at cemeteries, and so they stay. You mean like the veil is thinner and they can get back and forth easier if they wanted to, or do you mean that's where their remains are and that's sort of where they jump back and forth? Lori, it's there. Look at my photo. I love cemeteries. Very peaceful. Yes, they are very peaceful. We love cemeteries too. We visit them all anytime we pass one.
We went to one.
Yes, we stopped. The last time she was here, back in March, we stopped at
A very, very old
It's
cemetery.
very old. It was
A very, very old cemetery.
It's very old. It was in Floral City, and it's one I love to take back roads, and it's actually one that I've never seen before. I don't remember the name of it. Was it Stage? No, that's the one we passed. I don't remember the name of it, but anyway, we were walking around.
And they had like a lot of family plots
Big
of,
time.
of way back in the 1800s.
way back.
Yeah.
They were very, very old. A lot of them were just almost gone. But one of the coolest parts, we didn't have our filming gear, but we had our S-Box that day. And Jenny, being the director that she is, told me to turn it on and see if we can talk to them. So we turned it on and we're walking around. And there was a few times at some of the grave sites that the name would come through. I think there was a doctor, like a doctor name just bleeped through. And we were standing right in front of it, which was really neat. But one of the coolest parts for me is that one of the really old, we could barely, Dixon. I'm sorry, we have a bulldog and he's very snorty and farty. That was him.
Pointing at me.
One of the very, very old, we can't bury things very deep here in Florida because the water table's so high, but they used to make these sort of dome-shaped
Monuments.
things. And the corner of this one was cracked, and there was in that particular plot, and it was almost creepy, but very beautiful. There were just all these bees coming and going, and they had been settled there for a little while, and they were just sort of hanging out right in that spot there, and that was pretty cool. We didn't hang around that spot long. We didn't want to make them mad, but I wish we would have had our filming gear that day because that was just too cool. And I can't remember where that place is now for the life of me. I know it was near the bike trail, but that's all I can remember.
Right. And there was a path that you used to be able to go and pass over the tracks, but they had done something to it, remember?
Yeah.
Something?
Yeah.
But anyhow.
Let's see, because the energy is high there. Yes, the veil. Yep. I completely agree with you. 100%. It's a thin veil this month. I'll tell you guys that. Let's see. When my sons were small, we would pray for the children. It was very sweet, Papa Bear. I believe once they cross, they can go anywhere with a thought, not tied to any place unless trapped there. Tammy, I agree with you 100%. They are able to travel. And I heard somebody say one time that they can't travel in the water or across water, which is complete nonsense to me. I don't believe that. If you believe that, that's fine. But they can travel. Of course they can.
Papa Bear.
What?
I'm snorting.
Snorting party too. So this one. Just kidding. I'll never hear the 10-hour drive tomorrow. I'll never hear the end of it. Cemeteries are less scary during the day. This is from Michelle. Cemeteries are less scary during the day, and they don't bother you. Can you give me some elbow? You're taking up the whole table.
I want to stay in the picture.
Yes, we know. I'm just kidding. Because it could be the daytime for us, and they're nighttime. So resting at nighttime for us is daytime. That's very interesting. So Michelle is saying that during our daytime could be their nighttime, and during our nighttime could be their daytime. So that's the reason why we see spirits more often at night.
Yeah, they're probably dancing around in there.
I know I would be.
I would be too.
That's very interesting, Michelle. I like that. Emmy Moffat, whatever happened to part 2 of Randonautica where you were on the 4-wheeler? We have a conclusion to that. Emmy Moffat's calling me out on I like it, keeping me on my toes. Very good. I haven't released the video yet because we got busy with other things, which is a terrible excuse. But we do have the update to the 4-wheeler and the bag of hospital belongings that we found. And I promise you, Emmy Moffat, within the next, we got to take her back, then we've got work. No more than 2 weeks. I will have that video out for you. So that would be the conclusion of that video. Thank you for reminding me and keeping me on my toes. I appreciate that.
Barbara says if they can go through walls, they can certainly cross water.
Amen, Barbara. I know. I don't remember where I heard that, but it was the silliest thing I'd ever heard, saying that they couldn't cross water. And I don't believe that at all. Let's see. I believe the daylight brings out the light spirits and angels, and night brings out the dark spirits and demonic entities were ghosts. American Phantom Hunters. That's very clever. I think that you might be onto something there. I think a little bit of it has to do also with what we've been, conditioned to believe, especially with nighttime and things that come out at night. But again, chicken and egg. Are we conditioned that way, or is it that because that's the truth? Things come out at night. I believe absolutely that the things come out at night. So you can put whatever you want into the word things, demons, poltergeists, whatever. And I think it's definitely, it's very neat to think about that. Darlene, happy Saturday. Happy Saturday, Darlene. How are you? Tammy, they draw energy from flowing water. Yes, I believe they do so as well. They're energy, and water is an elemental, and I think that they pull energy from that.
Ember says something about old legends say vampires cannot cross water.
Oh.
I thought they couldn't cross your doorstep unless you invited them in. Is that true?
She watches a lot of TV.
I read a lot.
Amy Moffat, cool beans. Great, awesome. We see more spirits at night because we are in a relaxed state of mind, unlike the daytime, and don't notice spirits as often. Yes. I agree with that, Shadow. I think that the stuff that makes, aka their energy, that makes them more visible is easier to see at night. And I think that people are less distracted at night. And I think that people during the day are sort of, they're in their ruts and their routines. And unless it's something like your door slamming and all of your china flying out of its cabinet, then you don't really notice. I think they're around us all the time. And I think when you're at nighttime, when you're starting to relax and your brain starts to wander, I think that veil gets thinner. And if you're sensitive to that sort of thing, they definitely come out. But I think they're there regardless. But yeah, I agree with you 100%. Happy weekend. Yep. Thank you. Hope you like it. I did. Thank you. Old legends say, did we freeze again? Because I'm not seeing any more. Are we frozen? No, we're not frozen. Definitely. So I haven't.
There with your niece.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the Spring Hill Cemetery, which I'm sure you all are aware of. It's a very haunted place for not so good reasons in history. It's not just the spirits that are laying there, it's things that's happened there. But yeah, she heard a disembodied voice that scared her so bad, and she's such a trooper, my little Maddie. And her skin got hot, and it scared her so bad that we actually had to leave, which is fine. But that was at the Spring Hill Cemetery, and there's been a lot of stuff that's happened at that cemetery to a lot of different people. And it was in the middle of the day, and we had been there a handful of times before. Nothing like this has ever happened. And there's been a lot more activity of paranormal investigators going out there. So I think that might have had something to do with it. I think that some spirits are just snapshot or residual, and they may do the same mundane task that a lot of people will see, like a ghost in a white flowing dress walking up the stairs. It might not be an intelligent haunting. She might not be able to communicate with you, but a lot of people can see her. So I think
The skin being hot, that's demonic.
I think you're
So
right.
maybe your niece has some abilities.
She very well could. I think, in fact, I'd be surprised if she didn't. The tricky part of that is that we were in a corner of that cemetery where the fence line is, and I directly asked a question: are you upset because you're buried over in the woods and you don't have a headstone and you're not being recognized on the side of the cemetery? And almost immediately is when that happened. So I'd like to get back out there, maybe not with her because I'm not going to bring her out there again, but just to figure out exactly what's happening. It was interesting that I asked that question that happened. So I think there's something else going on out there. And I don't really think that it hasn't been provoked, if you know what I mean, which is very sad to me.
Tammy says she used to clean headstones for a living. That's cool.
That's awesome.
You learn a lot.
That's
Pay attention, you can learn a
That's
lot.
a very noble job. That's really cool. Lori found Sam. That's good. Kimberly, hello there, Rochelle. Hey, how are you? Good to see you. Thanks for coming. We're going to hang around here for just a bit longer. Jenny's got to go to bed or else she'll be grumpy, but we'll answer a few more questions. If anybody has any questions, put them in the chat. Dana's here. Dynamite. I've been on Dana. We work together, which again, I can't reveal where we work, but she's a coworker of mine, and I've been on her for months to start her own YouTube channel. So anybody that's here that wants to pester her, please, in all caps, just tell her to start her own YouTube channel.
Brenna Bear.
Brenna, what's my treat for watching the dogs tomorrow?
She got you something, don't worry.
Brenna's our daughter, and she's in the chat. You guys are very lucky tonight. You get a bunch of people here. Brenna Barron. Hi, Brenna. Lori, do it, Dana. I know, right? I know I'm working on it. She's not working on it fast enough. Thank you for being here, Brenna. Your treat. What did you tell her what the treat is?
No.
It's a surprise.
It's a surprise.
But you'll like it.
Yeah, so because we have to take this one home and we're not sure what's going on yet, Brenna has to come over and let the dogs out to go potty so we don't come home to a mess. Let's see. What else do we have here?
What mountain? Oh, in Tennessee State.
What?
Tennessee State Penitentiary.
Ooh.
Exploring with Sam.
That would be awesome. Yes, hospitals, prisons, penitentiaries, state hospitals, mental institutions, cemeteries, morgues, all of these places
Funeral
are
homes are interesting
known
too.
to hang on to spirits for a reason, which is a discussion for another night of why you guys might think that is. I have my own theories, but we'll discuss some other night why you might think that is.
You know, when we're up north, Sunshine's uncle has, about 7 funeral homes. Maybe we could hit some of those.
Don't you tease me with a good time. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, hush, work is crazy. Yeah, Dana, I've heard all the excuses. Just do it. Start your channel. Dana has got a special treat that I need to take advantage of a haunted location, which I'm not going to reveal yet, that we need to go investigate. And I've been dragging my feet.
Yeah.
What?
Monica, but we're not Monica wrote.
I will when I'm done talking.
It's
Anyway,
interesting.
stay tuned because Dana and I have a special treat for you guys here coming up shortly. If you guys ladies ever do go down to South Florida, check out the Hollywood Beach Resort in Hollywood, Florida. Request one of the lofts on the 6th floor. Supposedly bodies were stuffed in the walls. Holy macaroni, Monica, are you serious? They stuffed, was that like a, why would they stuff bodies in walls? I mean, I know why I stuff bodies in walls, but why would they stuff bodies in hotel walls?
It's probably an older hotel. And it was probably somebody sent to kill somebody and they stuffed them in the wall and put up sheetrock.
I used to work there. Ooh,
Mobsters.
Cool.
Mobsters, maybe.
Mobsters.
Needed insulation.
Needed insulation. I like your humor, American Phantom. I really do. These are the things that I wish I could say and hold myself back on because I don't want to offend people, but that's perfect. The gang used to do that. Yes, that's exactly, that's what she's saying. And that would be cool.
That'd be cool.
That'd be really cool. Whenever you can get to California, when times are better, you should go to San Diego and the Whaley House and investigate. I've heard of the Whaley House. I'm dying to get there. That's also on my bucket list. People will leave in the middle of the night. Mm-hmm. It slipped. Yeah, I'm sure. Cheap insulation. Papa Bear's got the sense of humor too. I love it. Although you don't need much insulation in South Florida, so maybe an extra hurricane barrier. County barrier is more active because, yeah, very poor people. Not always the case, but mostly.
2 men trapped in the walls.
Mittens, yes. There's actually somewhere in Brooksville, there's a cemetery where back in the day, probably 1920s or so, there was a surge of, exactly what you said, unnamed graves and burials. So, families couldn't afford to have them buried or cremated. So in the middle of the night, they would literally drag their loved ones over the fence and bury them. And a good friend of mine who I used to work with used to work in that cemetery. And they said that just about every other grave they would dig they would find some sort of human remains. So
Where
think
would-
about that. That's a lot.
Where was that place in Florida where they found all the poor boys?
Mariana.
That it was like a
Mariana.
home for boys
Yeah.
with behavioral problems, and then they found massive graves
They're
there.
still finding them.
They're still finding them.
Yeah.
It's all true.
It's in Mariana. I can't remember the name of it, but they would call it the White House, and it was just awful. Awful. And they're just figuring this out now. Like, this is not a lot of our history, Amityville, and all of these terrible things that happened. They found them out pretty quick, and they went down to history. But this stuff happened, and they just recently found out about it. So I'm not saying it's any more or less important than any of the other tragedies, but it just seems to hit you a little bit harder when these atrocities could happen and they got away with it for so long. I just can't even imagine. The place is abandoned, but it's under heavy surveillance. I wanted to go there for a long time just to sit and talk and cry with them and just tell them how sorry I am, and awful. So
American Phantom. Now, let me see. I saw something go by. Sorry, I think it's something about you'd never leave the mountains. That's their favorite vacations place is the mountains.
come to the mountains. We have lots of haunted places. Stop on your way through. I might take you up on that. The only problem is when I get to the mountains, eventually we're going to end up there. So,
I read a book about Black Mountain.
God, I hope that didn't come through on the. Excuse you.
The bulldog again. A book about the Black Mountain when it was. What's the name of the book? Something about the day after tomorrow.
Was it written in stone?
No.
American Phantom Hunters works in Black Mountain.
What?
Really?
I work in Black Mountain.
Wow.
Did you ever read that book? I'll go get it. Hold on.
Oh, here we go again. Careful. That is. I told you to be careful.
All right, be right back.
So sad. Yes, spicy taco. It is. Sometimes history is history, but sometimes it just should have never happened. And this one is terrible. Whaley House is best at night. Be sure to investigate next to the rose bush in the backyard that's on the back wall of the property. I will take note of that, and I will ask you your opinion before we go. It's definitely on my bucket list. And then I think I saw Sam's talk about Hales Bar Dam. That's also on my bucket list. Gosh, I think that one, the school kids would take the tunnel to school, and I believe they,
American Phantom Hunter says yes. The man who wrote it lives in Black Mountain.
I think they, let me finish my story
All right.
real quick. I believe that they, not inflated, they filled the tunnel. They filled the tunnel with water, and all those poor children perished, and now that's why it's haunted, along with some other things. I know Omar just went there, and somebody else, Franco TV was just there. Anyway, that's on my bucket list as well. Okay.
This is the book. You probably read it. There's another one too.
It's backwards, but it says 1 second after.
It's right on the screen.
Is it coming up backwards? Yeah. So 1 second after backwards. Either that or I've had too many hard ciders already.
It's an excellent book. I enjoyed it.
The man who wrote
But
it,
that was all about
he
Black
says
Mountain.
the man who wrote it lives in Black Mountain.
Yeah.
How cool is that? Also investigate the Hotel Coronado in San Diego. I'm assuming, Michelle, that one's haunted as well. We're not just talking about pretty getaways. Feisty. Yes, the tunnel flooded. Thank you. I couldn't think of the word. Thank you. I'm an hour from the dam. Are you really, Sam? That is awesome. UGUE did. Yeah, UGUE was there as well. I mean, just the sheer size of that thing is amazing. Lunatic Asylum. TA. What's TA? Trans. I think I know what you're talking about. Another Day with Lori. That's on the list. I've always been drawn to lunatic asylums and hospitals more than I am anything else. It explains a lot, right? But there's such a misunderstood and sad story there. And I believe that a lot of the spirits that hang around are still trying to explain that.
Stop it. Stop
Right
it.
away, yes, it's haunted. Would you ladies consider doing an investigation with Omar or Jody or Yujui? Sorry if it's a redundant question. Yeah, absolutely, Monica. I've investigated with Jody before. He sort of gave me my baby wings on YouTube, and he's a great guy, and we had a lot of fun. But he's been super busy, and so is everybody else, and so am I. So, and COVID really put a damper on things. But yeah, I'm not above or below anybody. I think we're all in this together, and a lot of my fans are their fans, and vice versa. What was that?
I'm playing with the dog.
Oh. Oh, yes, it's haunted. Portland, Oregon has underground tunnel city still there, and you can go. You know, Feisty Taco, I saw something about that. I can't remember where I saw it. I think I read it online. I love to do lots of research on this stuff. And there was a bunch of people that were interviewing for this article, but they would not discuss exactly what was down there or how they knew it was down there or even the folklore, the stories, and the urban legends. Like, it was so hush hush, and they were so afraid to talk about it. So I think that's really cool, and I would love to see that.
I always wanted to go to Savannah, Georgia, in that area there, based on that book. Did you ever read that book? It's got the little girl with, I can't do it, the little girl with her hands out. What's the name of that one? Something in the Garden?
Midnight in the Garden.
Midnight in the Garden.
Are we talking about the same kind of book here?
Yeah. I think there was
Yes.
a murder there, wasn't there?
Savannah, Georgia, is a very, very populated, spiritual-wise, under the radar. Like, it's not a place that gets brought up a lot, but Savannah, Georgia, and the surrounding areas is very heavily, I hate to use the word haunted, but
Midnight in the Garden of Evil.
Good and evil.
Good and evil.
good people.
Right.
Yeah. So yes, I would love to go there
I'd
as
like to
well.
go there.
I haven't been there in years, and the last time I was there, I just drove through, and it was beautiful. I remember that.
It is.
Take an investigation on the Queen Mary. Oh my gosh, I would love to investigate the Queen Mary, Michelle. I really would. Shanghai tunnels as well. Yes. See, we need to be writing all these down so that we can go through and check them off as we go.
It's your bucket list before
That's
you
my
die.
Bucket list. Winchester Mansion. Yes, Tammy, that's another one. Boy. Oh man, there are a lot of theories, and we are running past our time. We'll talk just a little bit longer. You guys are lucky because I can't land the plane, and she's still having fun. But there are a lot of theories, and I'd love to hear the last question for the chat. If you know about the Winchester Mansion and Mary Winchester, I think that was her name.
I don't know.
If you know about Miss Winchester and why she was building that house, what are your theories on why it is the longest continuous house construction ever? Let me know what you guys think.
Trying to read it and
Traffic people and bringing illegal goods. Yeah, Feisty, I think you're right. Tammy Rice, I think it's just two. They're still holding each other on the wall. They're holding on to each other.
Janet Rose watching from Haunted Savannah, Georgia.
Woo! Janet's watching from Haunted Savannah. Yeah, you know all about it, don't you? See, that's one of those places you hear all the time of, Boston and Florida, St. Augustine, just all of these places that have these high hauntings. And then there's Savannah, Georgia, just cruising under the radar. But I'll tell you what, it's no joke. They are all over the place there.
Janet, you'll have to send us some locations there.
Let's see.
That might be worth going to.
Could be that guy told Joe and Robin for you, Judy. I lost y'all back now. Oh, I'm glad we're back.
Sorry.
We don't know when it goes off. We just sit here and talk to ourselves, and we'll just keep talking. Michelle, I'd love to go on an investigation with you and Sunshine and Jenny on the Queen Mary. You've been on the Queen Mary, Michelle? Stop it. She was a spiritualist and said it was done to appease the spirits killed by my father's rifle. Janet Rowe, it's a beautiful place. I will try. Thank you, Janet.
Thanks.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
The
The Biltmore, yes. You guys are awesome. I love it. I love that we're all here because of the same thing. I really love that. I just did a whole video series on Savannah. You did not. American Phantom Hunters is all over the place. Living in the mountains,
'Cause
goes
he's
your
from Asheville
writer. Did a whole series on Savannah.
See?
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to look it up and watch it. Thank you for putting
we'll
that
have
there.
to look you up and hang out, clearly. American Phantom Hunters is now going to take over the chat because they have more experience than we do. Real quick, I just want to thank everybody that's still here and hanging out. We're going to wrap this up shortly, but you guys really are the best part of our day, so we just thank you so much for being here and hanging out with us and always showing so much support. We love you, love and see each and every one of you, all of you, so we appreciate that.
And thanks for all coming to my going away party.
Yes.
Be back in a few months.
Yep, goodbye.
Goodbye. See you, bye.
I need to move to the south. Ember, that's questionable. It's getting too busy down here in the south. Way too busy. Yes, I've been on there twice. Did a couple of the tours on the Queen Mary. Oh my gosh, Michelle Yoakum's been on the Queen Mary. Do you know anything about the Queen Mary? I'll
Well,
school you tonight. I'll
I think
catch
the
you up.
Titanic would be good too.
Well, how are you going to investigate the Titanic, Jenny? It's on the bottom of the ocean.
Underwater submarine. One of those little cute ones.
Beep, beep. Hello, over here. Anybody here? Speak into the light. Best chat group on YouTube. Papa Bear, you are 100% correct. We have the best little tribe here, and we have so much fun.
Thanks, Feisty. Yep. We'll be careful.
It's been fun tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Bobby Mackey. Ooh, see? If I had to pick one place that I would be hesitant in investigating, it would be Bobby Mackey's. I just don't think that I'm on the level I need to be quite yet. And to walk in there as I am now for an investigation would just be foolish. But I'll get there, Tammy. And I do want to go there. I'm not ready for that place yet. But Bobby Mackey's, oh boy.
We'll just pack her some extra underwear and pants. No problem. We'll throw them in the back of her truck.
Thanks, Jenny. Okay, never mind. We're good. We're going. Mary, big hi, girls from Australia. No Bobby Mackey's. Hi from Australia. I love Australia. That's also on my bucket list. Non-paranormal is going to Australia to visit. I'm a big wildlife nerd, and Australia is just,
They have a lot of poisonous
Been in my
animals,
heart.
though, don't they?
well, they're only poisonous if you eat them. Venomous is what you're.
Venomous, okay.
Right.
Scary things.
You can go to Vegas and see the exhibit of things from the Titanic. There you go.
There you go. Thank you, Michelle.
Thanks, Michelle.
Guess where we're going? Vegas.
Nope, no Bobby Mackey's dangerous, especially if you're gifted. Yes, I completely agree with you. I would have to be on a completely different level, and I'm not there yet. And it would be foolish, like I said, of me to try that.
Does that say Grand Davy?
Dana says Taco Band-Aid. Yes. So I hurt myself at work today, literally in the last 3 minutes before I walked out. And I have these Taco Band-Aids that Sarah gave me. I don't know if she's still here or not.
She was.
At my desk. And it's always funny when they come out. We all laugh.
He was in St. Augustine, too.
Who?
American Phantom. He did a video series there also.
You were just in St. Augustine.
Pretty good. Pretty cool.
Again, if you'd like to take the stage, please do so. That's amazing. That's amazing. I think the best part that I love about this is the history as well. The history and the energy. It's not just about seeing if you can catch something on camera or piss somebody off. You know, it's
We stayed
whole
at the
thing is
Foley
cool.
home in Savannah.
Papa Bear says tacos. Yep, tacos. Dana, paper cut. No, tooth.
I wrote about teeth.
Maximus. Maximus is here! Maximus in the house! Hey, Maximus! LOL, no way. We see it at the Foley House in Savannah. See, I don't know about the Foley House. What's Bobby Mackey's? So Bobby Mackey's is a music, it's called Bobby Mackey's Music World, and it's owned by Bobby Mackey, who is I forget how many albums he sold, but he's like a country music, folky sort of singer, songwriter, producer. And this building is along some railroad tracks, but there's also a well in the basement that a lot of people consider a portal to hell. And a lot of different people have gone there, and not a lot of people have good experiences. One of the more famous ones you could probably look up very easily is, of course, Ghost Adventures went there. And Ghost Adventures, most notably, Zach had a really bad experience there.
It used to be a butcher house.
Used to be, yep. It used to be a butcher house, and the chute that the cattle would go through is still down there in the basement next to that well that they're calling the portal to hell.
Question, do animal spirits come back?
Absolutely.
Because down the road from us where we used to live was a slaughterhouse. And then they sold the beef. But there was always flies all over. I never bought anything there.
That's disgusting. And where? What house?
Where we used to live, Tanner Road.
Oh, New York?
Mhm.
Yeah, they do, absolutely.
It was a farm and they slaughtered beef and deer after deer season. So just wondered if spirits of the animals came back.
I think they do. I think they're on a whole different wavelength and a whole different plane because their consciousness isn't.
American Baptist go to Bobby Mackey's in the summer.
What? American Phantom? Get out. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Stop it. I think this is only the first or second time we've met, but you and I need to talk, I think. That's amazing. Stacey W. Zach is an ass. Used to love that show until he went to Hollywood. I agree. I've got my own theories on that, and I agree with you.
Papa Bear's got a couple of cat spirits that visit.
See? There's a cat spirit in the May Stringer Museum. And actually the place where we work, which again, we're not going to name, but there is an animal spirit hanging around there that more than one person has seen. Got to keep her in line. Yeah. Thanks, Dana. Dana, start your YouTube. Look at all the fun you're missing out on. What inspired you to do your intro in your videos? Love it. What inspired you to do the intro? Maximus. I think what inspired, I don't know if it was inspiration as much as it was a necessity. As you're growing as a content creator and a YouTuber, you realize that in order to stand out, you really have to do the same things differently. And of course, everybody else has intros, and every show you watch on TV has intros. And my original goal, which I probably shouldn't say out loud because it's claiming my downfalls, but my original goal is every time I upload a video, I take a little clip from whatever video is coming up, sort of like they did in Breaking Bad and everything else, and slide it in there somewhere, sort of give you a hint of what's to come. But in order to do that, I would literally have to, on the system I'm running, which is a 2011 laptop, super fancy, I literally have to rewrite the whole thing every time, which is totally plausible if I wasn't spending all week editing the videos on a 2011 laptop. So the the intro hasn't changed much, and I will eventually get to the spot where I want to slip, like a little teaser to come into the intro, which is sort of fun to look out for. But I just sort of took everything little clips of what I filmed and what I thought was creepy along with some music and threw it together. It took me about a month and a half to do that, which again, I'm probably going to get made fun of for saying that, but we got it done and I love it and everybody else seems to like it. And you've always been very positive. So thank you for that. But yeah, it was just something I had to do. And I sat down, took me a month and a half to do it, but we did it. Eventually we'll get there.
I must not have any type of gift, I'm going to admit it, because my dog, I don't think he comes back to visit me. I don't think my husband comes back to visit me, although we went to see Sunshine. Asked her about the wedding ring, which I have. But if they come, I guess I have no ability. Is it something you have to be born with, or can you learn to be more accepting of spirits and in tune to them? Because I need some pointers. So if anybody's got any ideas, let me know. Because if it's a natural thing, I don't have it.
Well, when you were born, did you know how to ride a bike?
No.
Did you know how to swim?
Yeah. In utero.
We'll let the chat answer that one. That's so awesome, Rochelle. Love you. Oh, thank you so much, Maximus. Getting ready to investigate an old children's hospital. It got postponed to a woman killed herself there 2 weeks ago. Any advice? Whoa. Wow. That is, I hate to say awesome because that's a terrible thing to happen, but
Yes, you can.
is it, Stacy, is it abandoned or is it empty or is it still used as such? Because that's going to influence my answer. The intro is like an appetizer for the video. You're right, Papa Bear. Yes, you can learn. Some of it's more natural. Yep.
Do your prayers so they hear you. Yeah, I do. I do talk to them. And I ask them, how come you never come to visit me? But so far, no go. I was taking the train from Charlotte to come down to Florida. And as we were leaving the Charlotte station, probably within the first half hour, a man jumped off an abutment, there was an overhead thing.
You said what?
Abutment. And jumped right in front of the train. And it was pretty nasty because we could hear him kind of crunching underneath the wheels. And we had to sit there for hours and hours and hours while they investigated the death. But apparently it had been a place where several suicides had taken place. And it's just outside of Charlotte on the Amtrak.
Bye, American Phantom. Thank you so much for being here. I didn't want to
Yes,
miss you.
thank you.
Thank you. And we will definitely hit you up. Thank you so much. I didn't want to miss.
No, that's okay. That's all I was just going to say was that was a common place for suicides.
Yep.
On the, I guess it would be an overpass to the train station,
Well, here's
train tracks.
my answer to your question. Jenny, you're very no nonsense.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that anything paranormal or spiritual is nonsense. I'm saying that you are very cut and dry and straightforward. So to think that there could be something out there that you can't see or potentially hear, smell, taste, or touch that's intelligently interacting with you in your environment is just, no offense, just beyond your realm.
Yeah, that's what I think. I'm a registered nurse from New York, and everything has been very scientific. You know, all my studies are all very scientific stuff.
Yep.
You did have some psych training at the insane asylum.
Oh, Maximus, thank you for coming. I just saw your message. I'm sorry if you're gone already. Maximus, thank you. Thank you for coming.
But anyhow, yeah, I've always had kind of a more scientific brain than anything else.
Yeah. So I think I think having an openness to this opens you up to this, if that makes sense.
Well, I'm learning a lot from you.
You are learning a lot, and I was very proud the way you handled our little friend that came back with us from the house there. And I think that means that you're opening up more.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to learn more, so
Mm-hmm.
when I come back, I'm bringing my snake boots.
Absolutely.
Michelle, you're going to ask you questions you'd like to respond.
I asked you a question. I'm curious what the answer is.
Rochelle, did you ever have a paranormal experience before you did YouTube? And if so, did it convince you to do YouTube?
Oh, girl, I had lots and lots and lots of paranormal experiences before YouTube. The thing that sort of turned me on to it, I don't know if you heard the story yet or not, but to make a very long story short, I used to camp with my father all the time before I lost him. And when I was little, I was probably about 8 years old, we were camping this little campground called Starkey Park in Pasco County, Florida. And very recently, I believe within the past 10 years or so, they discovered an actual home site in the campground area, sort of deeper in the woods. And all that's left there, there's pieces of an old car, an old well, and the fireplace, and some cattle fencing. So they sort of cordoned off that section and made a little thing that you can go and walk through and take pictures and things like that. And it's very cool. It's just an old settlement, but we would take little throwaway cameras, and at nighttime we would go out there just to try and snap pictures to see, just tooling around really. I think he was just sort of appeasing me. And there was one night in particular that we were out there on the other side of it, and on the other side of the fence there were two little kids, plain as he and I were, just standing there watching us. And I asked him, I said, "Who's that?" And he goes, "I don't know who that is. We're the only campers here." And we were the only campers there. It was sectioned off into like cabins and tents, and they were separate. So there was somebody in the cabin, but we were by ourselves. And then right before both of our eyes, they turned around and it literally disappeared, and it blew my mind. So that was sort of my opening into that part of it. I'll never forget it. And we've caught some really neat orbs and stuff, and that sort of fueled his and I's passion for it. So I've done this since then on my own as a hobby. And it wasn't until recently, meeting up and hanging out with Jody Dean, Mr. Hunting the Dead himself, he sort of opened my eyes to a whole new world of sharing paranormal investigations and your evidence with the world. And I became very passionate about that. So it was sort of a mix of both. Somebody else opening my eyes to this world of sharing it. It's a very hard thing to do, honestly, because you catch a lot of flack for it, but it's definitely worth it for the things that you do capture and catch and you're able to share with other people. So I hope that answers your question. I know that was very roundabout and you're over here getting antsy, but that's my answer. All right, last minute questions. We are going to wrap this up. I've said that 4 times already. My granddad died. He came to say goodbye. Yeah, I believe they do that as well. I really do. And I think the more open to it you are, the more you'll experience.
Oh, I'm going to try.
I know you will. Really want to do Paranormal, and no one around it wants me to go. I'm surrounded by chickens. Monica, yes, it can be a very scary thing. It can also be a very rewarding thing, especially when you start making connections with them. I had the same problem, Monica. Michelle, thank you, sunshine. You betcha. Monica had the same problem. Ember, my husband will go to haunted places with me, but he's very against trying to communicate. That's interesting, Ember. Sunshine's sort of the same way. She's very, not so much into this. And it's mostly a lack of experience with it is all it is. And sometimes they open up to it and sometimes they don't. So it's just a matter of waiting, I guess.
Hi, everybody. I'm signing off.
You're signing off.
I'm signing off.
She's got to the bathroom.
I'm
I
done.
have the chicken ding. I'm sorry, Miss Stacy. It's all right. This has been great. Anyone can come along. Yes, that's absolutely right. Thank you, Jenny. Papa Bear says thank you, Jenny.
Bye, Papa Bear.
All right, kids. We are going to sign off. We've got to get up very early in the morning. So thank you to every single one of you who has been hanging out here tonight. We've seen you. We appreciate you, all of your support. Thank you again to Papa Bear for the donation. Tammy, Ember, Monica, everybody that's here. Stacy, thank you guys so very much. Everyone be safe. Yes, Papa Bear. Everybody take care. We will see you very soon. We're going to get some filming done while we're on the road. Rain or no rain, we're not afraid of a little rain. We ain't going to melt. Dana's still hanging out. Dana, start your YouTube channel. Absolutely. Yes, we will be safe. We will keep you updated. There's a community tab real quick before I go. I'm noticing that not a lot of people are seeing some of the stuff I'm posting on the community tab. So on your home page, if you scroll down a little bit past your usual subscriptions, back where I'm hiding way down at the bottom, there are posts, sort of like Facebook or Twitter, that people can make. So the only way for me to communicate with you via YouTube is to make a video, and we can't really make like 10-second videos saying, hey, we've got a video coming out. So that little community tab, if you scroll down, we've been posting a lot of cool stuff on there, so stay tuned with that. So we'll post some road trip pictures, and we will post just all the fun stuff that's happening here. But also we have our Twitter and our Facebook, and our Instagram as well. Sunshine puts a lot of her furniture up on the Instagram. So just pay attention to that, because that is going to be your direct connection. And of course, we do have our email, abandonedreclamation@gmail.com. We're always around. We love talking to you guys, so feel free to reach out. And in the meantime, we will update you on our trip, and we will see you all soon. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
What was our total amount of time on there? Seemed like longer